Amanda, away too. I cannot talk if SANC is sitting down, as you said. Professor Bengu, can you stand? Come closer to me this side. Professor Bengu, CEO. Sizomkunu. She's the Registrar of SANC. Professor Bengu, the Chairperson of SANC. I'm showing you so that if they don't answer in 7 days, we come here and when we sit in that gate, we'll see them coming through. So we are saying if this is not addressed in 7 days, we are going to occupy this office, more than 200,000 nurses, who are going to be enough. Something else, SANC today has been closed, which means they gave staff a holiday. It is the 14th holiday for SANC only. The message we are sending is that 22 February 2018, it must still be closed because they declared a holiday on their own. And if we do not get an answer, we're going to come here for 5 days. It means SANC will be holiday every day until we get an answer. Viva DENOSA, viva! Viva Nehau, viva! Amanda, away too. Mata, Kiaruna, Matimba, Ahina, Manda, Ashu, Krach, Krach, Onse, DENOSA, Onsa Sliferio, Onsal Ales Du. DENOSA Onsa Sliferio, Onsal Ales Du. Now is sabotage. We are not going anywhere. That machine must just work. Holira Gwita Masiare, 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 Holira Gwita Masiare. Amanda, away too, comrades, there's no more time. There's no more time. As a result, we are here to hand over the memorandum to SANC of our grievance. We are accompanied by SATU, the teachers. We are accompanied by the COSATU. Because in COSATU, it has never happened that two unions of public sector march together. But today we are here together. And we see, we must say united we are strong. But divided we fall together. So we must also say, Zange Gubenje, Ekosatu, Zange Gubenje, Ekosatu, Zange Gubenje, Ekosatu, Zange Gubenje, Ekosatu, Zange, Amanda, siyayiganda iSANC siyayiganda. Sibaqedile niyababona sebathukile. They are nurses. They are all nurses. Comrades, one thing we are passing the message on is that the queues that SANC sees every year, this year we want to see 0 queue. Because SANC must open offices in all provinces. Transport from Cape Town to Pretoria by a flight is more than 5,000. By a bus is still more than 2,000. Our nurses cannot spend their hard-earned money meant to buy food for their children by transporting themselves to come to SANC and only to pay for licensing fee. Similarly, buying the epaulets. It is uncalled for, and the caring nurses must care for us as nurses. So those are some of the issues. We are saying SANC must invest and improve in the technology so that it becomes easy for us to pay without having to spend so much time in the day and era of technology. It must be improved and ensure that we do not suffer such challenges. The private colleges that we have in South Africa, some of them don't meet standards. SANC must begin to shut them down. Our brothers and sisters must stop being told when they want to do nursing that they must do pre-nursing. And SANC must intervene in that space. Even that taxi driver and owner who owns a college in Pretoria must be stopped, and that college must be closed. We can't commodify nursing. What happens in the Health Professions Council for the doctors and other allies, it does not, what is happening there is not the same as what's happening in SANC. Now SANC must tell itself something is wrong here. And we are saying, as a demand to the chairperson, as a demand to the CEO, acting CEO, they must transform SANC so that we don't have problems going forward. As a result, SANC, when they do inspections in hospitals, they must stop planning and telling people who are coming. If you tell them you are coming, you know what they do? They borrow a dynamap from one clinic to the other so that you get a dynamap there. For that week, they clean the hospital as if nothing else has ever been done. So when you walk there proudly, they show you only the beautiful things. When the reality is that our people do not find even clean toilets, and SANC is supposed to say our nurses cannot work in this environment. The nurse-teacher ratio in colleges, SANC must intervene. We can't continue to have nurses being taught and in a large crowd, and SANC is there. It's supposed to ensure that standards are met. The doctors, in terms of HPCSA, they can go to the hospital and say, we will no longer allow our doctors to come to this hospital when the conditions are not okay. SANC must start advocating for us. Nurses are not enemies of SANC. So SANC must stop punishing nurses for the mistakes of government. Something else is that recently SANC, when you pay, some of the people say they will be told, no, you pay to that account, you did not pay to this account. You can't have an institution with different accounts and get told stories. The technology must be able to pick up and say, this is one person, one member who has paid. And all those that are owed by SANC for having paid wrong and whatever, they must immediately be paid their money. SANC, before increasing fees, they must consult us. We are a major stakeholder here. We are here with Nahau, so that when something goes wrong or it's not addressed, Nahau employees that are inside there will be on the strike with us. And you can't tell them to take holiday because they'll be striking against you as SANC. So kuphelile ngeSANC sigqibile namu. Amanda, away too. These are our colleagues. They must help the country to have better nursing care for our people. When they don't find medication in a clinic, they must be able to say, how do you render nursing care when you don't have medication? They must be caring for our community because they also use the same public sector services itself. So comrades, community service, nurses, when they qualify, most of them don't have registration now. We want SANC to tell the employer, predominantly the government, that as long as those students have paid to SANC, whether you paid in the bank, they must not wait for the certificate, because you have complied on your part. And we want SANC to release certificates within 60 days of receiving all the completion records by the colleges. SANC must be able to tell provincial departments and colleges that when students complete their training, they must submit those documentation within 30 days. so that when there's no compliance, we must not be told that nurses are not going to work. SANC should be ashamed if nurses in the Free State, they did not get absorbed as community nurses, and are standing on the street unemployed because SANC has not given them certificate. You must contribute to employment in our country. You must relieve poverty for the communities where we come from, because some of the people, we come there as breadwinners. I thank you very much, comrades. We don't have much time. Amanda! Viva Kosatu, viva! Viva DENOSA, viva! Viva Nehau, viva! Long live the unity of the working class, long live! Siyamganda umsebenzi, siyamganda! Igama lamafokosikazi Malibongwe Ro, young lion Ro, Amanda away too. Thank you very much. Bua President Bua, Bua President Bua, Amanda. No thanks, comrade. Rather irregister comrades. Rather irregister comrades. Tontore rata because of patents. And then not register. Your manager should not say you have not paid. So South African Nursing Council must make sure that it's mandatory. Once you appear in the e-register, it must be taken as being licensed to practice. Over to you, Amanda. Amanda. I'm not going to be as civil as my president was. Comrade Kwena, can you come and hold this? The mic. Can you stand there? Amanda, I've got a very long memorandum, but I'm going to try to shorten it because I think Professor Gumbi, who is the chairperson of a SANC board, can read some of the things that are there which are very clear. Which, the first one, the nurses are saying, Pengu, my apologies. Yeah, SANC has promised to sue us. They will sue me for that. My apologies. The nurses are saying they've lost confidence in yourself and your board. They are saying SANC board must resign or will be left with no choice but to request the minister to dissolve the board. And we are saying these offices were not supposed to have closed because these offices are funded by these nurses that are sitting here. Some, they came with money to buy epilets. And by the way, we just realized that your epilets are from Hong Kong. The things are falling apart, and we've got a problem with that. We are in simple terms saying, if we are saying to the nursing council that a nurse collapsed in the council and they say they will sue us, let them go ahead. But they must remember, it is these nurses, even the one that died, it's money that you want to use to sue us. You are not scared and you are not intimidated. We will go straight to our demands. Demand number one, decentralization of SANC.
The long queues and unnecessary traveling encountered by nurses are unprofessional and are unhealthy exercise. We demand that there should not be interference by the department into the affairs of SANC once structures are appointed. Opening of registration period for payment of annual fees throughout the year and not only from July to December of each year. Transparency on how the fees are increased and utilized by SANC. We demand an itemized billing and/or statement. Allow nurses who work for government to choose months that SANC can deduct annual fees from PESA so that nurses don't have to come to Pretoria. The punitive nature of SANC, as seen in most cases, outcome. You struck the nurses off the roll. Prolonged suspension is contrary to corrective discipline and is not complementing the current nurse shortage in the country and is neither typical of peer review body. We further demand the establishment of investigating officers so as to avoid charging nurses prior to proper investigation. Financial accountability should be with the Health Ombudsman and a demand audit of all finances as received and used in the last 5 years. We also demand annual report of utilization of all funds received by SANC. Some fees paid to SANC, e.g. restoration fee, fee for requesting academic records, seem not to be a well and fairly calculated price. We demand to be taken through a process of information including accounting towards all amounts paid to SANC. Further, that exception should be made on merit upon removal of any person from the registrar due to non-payment of registration fee. A nurse who actually did not know that some payment were increased deposited 560. Instead of being reminded that you are 30 rand short, she was removed off the roll. It's very unfair. The parking space afforded to ourselves in an appalling condition is not near anesthetic to a human eye. We demand revamping of this parking space. We need SANC to make the Nursing Act relevant and take out irrelevant nursing categories such as ancillary midwife category, which is a non-existent in this country. An agent needs to have provision for appeals procedure framework that the appeals committee must operate within. To re-look at section 56 of the Nursing Act and address the restriction of private nurses who, despite have done dispensing courses, can still not prescribe or dispense. A turnaround should be developed with decentralization in mind of ensuring that community service certificates and diploma and degree certificates are delivered to recipients within the first 2 months of commencement and not more than 6 months we are experiencing. An external audit should be conducted by latest June 2017 on the high failure rate of external examination provided by SANC and the report be given out to stakeholders and the public, and remedial action should be taken against those who will be found on the wrong side of the law. The audit should cover a period from January 2015 to December 2017 on all examinations provided by SANC. Invigilation and marking on all examinations provided by SANC should be done by nurse educators who SANC should source their services, and such services should never be provided by any person who does not hold a nursing education qualification. SANC should lead a fight against bogus nursing schools and to involve all relevant stakeholders, including trade unions, communities, law enforcement agencies, and etc. SANC academic rules and regulations should be given to all the students of all programs who are to write council examinations. The last 24 months have been huge staff turnover at SANC, especially senior personnel, leading to breakup in communication. SANC should explain the suspicious paging of senior personnel. SANC must stop mass retrenchment of staff, especially women and youth. This goes against the spirit of nation building and alleviation of joblessness. SANC is an ivory tower and make it difficult to communicate when seeking guidance. Telephones, emails, letters get no response. We demand that senior personnel respond to requests for meetings within 48 hours as delays cause damage to operations. We further demand that we demand response from your office within 7 working days, failure to which we will have no option but to exercise our constitutional rights. And then lastly, SANC is funded by the nurses, and we expect that the nurses must benefit from funding this office. We would have expected better. SANC has not had a registrar CEO in a very long time. Since the departure of Umabuda, we have Usizo acting, we have Umanganyi who was acting, who's alleged to have been ceremoniously removed. And we take very serious exception of that. And we demand that a registrar must be found within a month, failure which will shut down Innocent Council. And lastly, these nurses gathered here, they are not coming to SANC this year to come and pay. That says, if no offices in provinces or a better way of paying, no payment, that says there won't be any registered nurse for next year. And that's not a threat, it is a promise. Thank you. Now I would ask SANC to accept our memorandum and sign our memorandum. Oh, sign namo, asemoraba. Oh, sign namo, asemoraba. Oh, sign namo. Hosanamo, Asimurabara, Hosanamo, Hosanamo, to sign here, it's not a chance split, to sign here,
Hosanna more. Hosanna more. Hosanna more. Asimura bara. Hosanna more. Asimura bara. To sign here. Child's play. To sign here. To sign here. It's not a child's play. To sign here. It's not a child's play. To sign here. It's not a child's play. Ugusanala. Ugusanala. Agusurabara. Ugusanala. Agusurabara. Ugusanala. Ugusanala, Agusumuraba, Hosanna mo, Hosanna mo, to sign here, to